So today we are inside a very talented person's house, loft, apartment. I don't know. From DJing on your favorite bars, from Cherry to Grand Prize Bar, and featured in Houston Live TV, which you guys should definitely check that out. All links down. You have Hiram. How you doing, man?
How are you? I'm pretty good.
That's good. I appreciate you having us here, and your cat wants to make a feature. So let's talk about the establishment of the DJ world, the entrance of the DJ world. There's recorded records, on the record it's 2012.
Mm-hmm.
It could go way before. I'm not sure, but when was the first time you said, okay, I'm gonna be a DJ?
I want to say it was nail on the head, like 2012, maybe even late 2011. I remember my first gig was actually at somebody's house party, and I just had my laptop. My friend had a speaker that he had built, and it had an aux cord, so we would just walk around, and it was battery powered. So it was really cool. We would go to Montrose. In Montrose, they used to have this thing that was I can't even remember. Pride. It was Pride, actually, but it used to be in the Montrose area.
Yeah. And
it would be off Westheimer. And I remember this house party that I talked about just a little bit ago was around that time. So it's kind of blurry whether if it was at Pride in the middle of the street with that speaker or if it was at that house party around that same time. But it was in 2011.
Okay, so that's what made you say, okay. And everything has an inspiration. You told us when you started, but what made you say, I want to be a DJ?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. It all started kind of just as a what if. I was probably tired of working, like many people that are, 20 years old. I had started working at TJ Maxx. That was my first job. And then I was like, this sucks. I got sick one day. My boss was like, you're throwing up. It doesn't matter. Eat some crackers, drink some Sprite, pull up to TJ Maxx. You are about to work a shift. And I was like, no. So I get fired, and that kind of, I guess I never did well with authority.
Yeah.
So that kind of was my attitude a lot of the times. I had a bunch of different jobs. I was even a janitor at a country club at age of 18. It was terrible. So I just had a string of really terrible jobs. And that is what caused me to be like, what if I became a DJ? And my parents were like, oh, crap.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's always parents. They want, what's good for you. I feel that to the heart because I feel like that's me right now. I'm
It's a dog.
Oh, okay.
So this building is haunted too, though.
Is it really?
Yeah, it used to be a hospital.
Oh, shit. So are you sure that's your dog?
That could be the end. Okay.
Okay.
We'll figure something out.
Okay. Let's fast forward from, the 2011, 2012 part and go to 2015. You submitted a track list to the Red Bull Music Academy, and you had plus 10 tracks. And did you ever get a word back from that?
So I think back at that, and that was so long ago, but I remember that was such a powerful moment because it was the first time I actually really got my hopes up, right? Any creative, it's like a sensitive thing, actually putting your stuff out there to be kind of evaluated and heard by people who can help if they like it, So I did hear back from them, and they were like, you're not a fit for us because at the time, I think that one wasn't going to be in Paris, the academy. And I'm not sure if the viewers are aware, but they would pick a different city around the world every year and bring maybe 40 to 50, maybe a little bit more. But it was a small group of musicians to collaborate with one another from all over the world. They would pay for your travel, your housing, and that's what that was. So I was like, oh my gosh. I started DJing in probably end of 2011, 2012, early 2012, and I I started producing 2 years after. So at 2015, I had only been producing 1 year. And I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready for Red Bull.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were like, maybe not this time, but try again in a couple of years.
Trying to be nice
kind of
about
like
it,
what they said. And I imagine they get so many submissions. So it was just nice to get a personal message. I could probably still find it in my old email. But ever since, I was kind of like discouraged to try again. And recently, right before the pandemic, I was gearing up to apply. Like 2019, saying recently, that's like years ago now. But in 2019, I was going into 2020 ready to apply because it'd been like 5 years. I had learned so many more things about production. My sound had evolved. And then they kind of like discontinued it. I think. I could be wrong, but I didn't reapply. So it was just that one time, and that was it.
So maybe because of the pandemic, they might. So if let's say pandemic's over in a year, right? And then they're like, oh, Red Bull Academy's back up. Would you try again?
I absolutely would try. The one thing I have done recently that was kind of similar, and it's the first time since that Red Bull Music Academy application. I signed up for a remix contest recently, and I placed 3rd place. So that was the first time getting like that, kind of like higher up, kind of co-signing something and being like, this is good.
Yeah.
Good enough for 3rd place.
Yeah. No, well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm going to scratch that question off. You answered it, basically.
We can talk about it more, but
So, from someone who, you were born here? Or you
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I was born in Matamoros, Mexico, Tamaulipas. And so I'm a Mexican citizen.
Gotta represent the gang. My people are from Tamaulipas. They're over there right now, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But, okay, so being from Matamoros, and then coming over here and starting your DJ, here, you have gone to different places. You have gone from close places like Austin, and then you've gone to semi-far places like San Diego. But then the one that I saw and I was like, oh shit, was when you ended up in Tokyo.
Yes.
So how was that for you?
Oh man, it's incredible, and really, it's all thanks to music. Seriously, because I connected with these guys after like a South by Southwest one year, and I'm still a part of the team, collective, record label, and they handled a lot of my booking, like out of state, out of the country, even like if opportunities would come up. They go by In Good Company, and it's a little collective with like a pretty good roster, and these are all my friends. We're all like SoundCloud producers, and prior to the pandemic, they had set us up a couple of, out of country gigs in Tokyo, some in like London the year before, and I really missed that with the pandemic,
Yeah.
But the In Good Company guys, great family.
So stepping aside from music and stepping aside from a busy life that you have, you also, you like to enjoy your own personal life here at home. You have pets, you have your cats, you have your girlfriend, and you and your girlfriend do yoga, which I found out about less than an hour ago that it's actually her. And did she introduce that to you?
She did. She introduced yoga to me. I had done it before. Never really like, oh, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. But, maybe like I had friends who wanted to do a class together or something like that. I'm like, maybe not even that. But I had done a yoga class before. I really feel like when you're with someone, you want to invest in them. And that's like going beyond just like hanging out with them. You want to support what they do. So I feel differently about it now. I don't feel like I'm just going to do a yoga class. I feel like I'm really supporting her practice. And when I go, it means so much to her. And I wish I could go more often. I really do.
But it's like the busy schedules
It's
collide
tough.
and all that.
I think right now we're at I go once a week. And she probably teaches a lot. And I don't go more than once a week. I should, but she definitely was the one who really introduced me to yoga. Oh. She's killing it.
Oh, that's good. Let's talk about this academy. Here it is, the Houston Live TV. So you have an academy. Because of the pandemic, you teach people. I would say I've seen little kids. Are they all just little kids that you teach?
So, a little backstory. I worked at a private school in Missouri City called the Wide School for a lot of years. Great school, it's a interesting philosophy. It's Reggio Emilia, which is kind of like every child that has their own language and like way of learning. So, I did that for about 5 or 6 years. I got really good at teaching kids. So I was a music teacher here, and I was teaching them music theory, a lot of percussion, reading and writing notes, like basic music stuff. And then on top of that, I was also teaching them how to make music in GarageBand, Machine, and how to DJ using Serato. So the one boy, Ryan, who I think you've seen the picture of, and we were on the news and all that. He was actually an old student of mine, and he continued after the pandemic. We parted paths, and I wasn't at the school anymore. But his family reached out and wanted to continue. So aside from him, I teach mostly adults, but I am down to teach anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's really nice. It's showing, you're passing on what and that's very important here, in the city of Houston. A lot of people, I feel like they have this block and they're just like, I can't do it, because I don't have the financial status or I don't have the right person to teach me. So you doing that's really awesome, and I really admire that.
Thank you.
So we're coming close to an end. What's next for you? What's out there?
So I am going to be dropping a little 4-track EP soon of all original music and even some vocals on here. And I recorded all the vocals using my iPhone. It was kind of like the theme of the project, like club kind of tracks with minimal vocals. And I was really just like airdropping it to myself into the software and like working on it like straight out of the voice memo app, which was really fun. But now that all that material is about to be 2 years old, so I'm like, I need to get this out. Like, there's a music video, a bunch of stuff. Other than that, I would like to plan a festival, and no one's really heard about this yet except the people who I'm trying to do it with. Mm-hmm. I want to continue DJing. I'm currently taking piano lessons to be classically trained because there's such a difference from like making beats and really composing something beautiful. And it's taken me a really long time. It's about time I learn how to play piano. What else? I'll probably go DJ in Canada. That I'm waiting to do that. I don't know how the border. All the DJing out of town is on pause. So I would like to go on a tour with the little EP, but that we can do like the US, but probably not outside.
Yeah, well, I did research for Canada yesterday, I think. Yeah, it was yesterday, and yeah, you can't.
Yeah, there's people who I want to bring to Houston. Shout out to Open Source, my party that we have with Morgan and Carolina. There's a list of artists who we want to bring, and one of them is in Canada, so I'm waiting.
Just waiting for that right moment. Yeah. Hopefully they, end up getting better soon, which honestly, yeah. I don't see it happening.
I don't either. I didn't realize until very recently that the United States isn't letting anyone who's not a citizen in right now. It's kind of like, like Tokyo, same thing, travel bans, that's all really real. I was just in the airport the other day, and there were a bunch of signs like, no matter what you're doing, you can't because it's like code whatever red or because of COVID. Red.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it really is. So to the people, to the kids, to the young adults, the elderly who want to do this DJ, create music, and they're having a hard time and they just can't, they don't have patience or whatever. Do you have anything to say to them?
I think you should just try it. Because, if I tell you how I started, it wasn't really planned out at all. I didn't plan any of this, and now it's all I do. Of course, it did all happen strategically. Over time, I did begin to plan, but it just takes trying, and I used some extra financial aid. Honestly, I was that age where I was like, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to go buy beer, or am I going to buy a little $250 piece of equipment and, download some software? And look what happened. Now this is my full-time job, and it all starts on square one with nothing. So I would say invest in yourself.
Financially and
emotionally and just like time. Time, it really doesn't wait for anything. If you're like, oh, I got to do this, time management is such an important thing, especially for creatives, because it's easy to do the bare minimum, but when you really figure out when and where you should be doing things, that's a great feeling. You find your purpose.
Yeah, of course. So that was today's episode, a little life about Hiram. Thank you, man. Really, I appreciate you inviting us over.
No problem.
And hope to see you out there more,
Yes.
Shit, because you're doing your thing. But that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next week.